Hi, Fred Tittens here with Valley Implement Company. I've had a number of people asking me about all these Magnum tractors we have. I've got this many here in Preston. I got a lot in our Logan store, a lot in our Tremont store as well. These are lease return Magnums that we've partnered with Case IH. We brought them in out of the American Falls and Rupert area. In fact, you'll notice on some of these they may have a tire that's a little more skinny than we're accustomed to down in the Cache Valley and areas around here. But at the end of the day, they've got some tremendous bargains on them, but a lot of people have questions for me. How do leases work? Is it a good deal? Is it the right thing I need? Is it something I should consider? So we're going to take just a minute today, step inside and talk about lease returns and how leasing options work for you. I would just mention we've got lease returns on Magnum tractors, and we've also got lease returns on big loaders. So you have some wheel loaders that you could choose from as well. So let's take a minute, we'll step inside, and we'll just go over a couple of those details on the three things I think you want to be aware of when you're making a lease decision. Thank you. So guys, if you're talking about a lease, at the end of the day, the main thing you want to understand is what the residual value is. That can be a little confusing to people of exactly what that means, but basically that is what we estimate the value of this tractor, of what it is going to be at the end of a lease. Now, typically on these leases, we're doing 3, 4, or 5 years, so you'll run them that long, and that's what you and the bank collectively say, we think this will be worth it in the end. And there's really 3 types of leases, and it depends on what type of lease you choose, whether that residual value means a lot. So one, I like to call a walkaway lease. And what we're doing on these Magnums that we just reviewed and on those wheel loaders is a walkaway lease. Because at the end of the day, the residual value is not a huge important factor to you because you're going to hand it back to them. You're going to say, I put 200 hours on it or 300 hours per year, whatever you agree upon, and then you're going to hand it back to them, and it will be the bank's responsibility or the leasing company's responsibility to say, here's what we think it's worth, and they're going to go out and sell it. So that's the very safest one for a customer. A walkaway lease, you don't have any concern or worry about what the market's going to do or where its value is. Now the other one we like to refer to as kind of a lease to purchase. And that really means for some type of tax reason, you are going to just lease a piece of equipment because you prefer to handle it that way on your financials instead of trying to hand it back at the end. We don't make any difference in how you're handling that. We just say, yeah, at the end of the day, we're just going to own this tractor. And so that's what I call lease to purchase. And in that particular scenario, the residual value isn't a giant factor, but it's only a minimal factor. Now, the other type of lease that's becoming more popular is what they call a fair market value lease. It's probably the most dangerous out of the 3 we talk about today, but you're basically partnering with the finance company to say, I'm going to lease it for X number of dollars right now. I'm going to put so many hours a year on it, and then at the end we're going to collectively send it to market and say, what did that thing bring and what is it worth? It's a little more risky, but you might be able to keep your payment down or something along those lines, but you have to be aware you don't know how much you're going to owe at the very end. So I usually try and shy people a little bit away from a fair market value lease. The lease to purchase is simply if your accountant or someone else says that's what you need to do, and the ones we're having the greatest success right now on is the walkaway lease, because we can tell you the price, we can tell the hours, and frankly these prices on used Magnums, guys, are wonderful. We've had a good run of selling these. We've been putting them in guys' operations all around the area, and we've got plenty to choose from right now. So if any of our sales consultants can be of assistance to you, we're happy to help out. We're Valley Implement Company, Grace, Idaho, Preston, Idaho, Logan, Utah, and Tremont, Utah. We're happy to be of assistance, and thank you for your time today.